Okay, so disregard how absolutely sick I sound, but it is January 20th and it's 9:36 p.m. and we just got the notification that Amazon was downloading, but it said delivering tomorrow for Onyx Storm, but it is on my Kindle now. So it's early enough where I can read. And that's cool that she did it that way. So she did it where it released at the same time, East Coast and West Coast. So she must have released it at midnight on the East Coast and then decided, you know what, we're just going to do it all at the same time. We're not going to wait till midnight our time. We're going to do it now. So here we go, Onyx Storm. I wonder if, wait, I wonder if the audiobook is also downloaded, because I couldn't pre-download it or like pre-order it on Audible for some reason, because I don't have the subscription. It didn't let me like buy the book, so I wonder if I could do that, but it's fine. All right, we're just gonna read, and I'm just gonna come back and like do some updates, because this is probably not gonna get like, I'm not gonna put this online until like way later because I don't want to spoil anybody, but I do want to record it. So oh, actually that was the prologue. This is chapter 1, but this hurts. This hurts. The pathway is blocked between Xaden and Violet, and he's choosing to block the pathway because he doesn't trust himself or what he'll become to keep it open. So they have no communication. Oh, why does that hurt? That hurts so. I'm sorry. I just finished chapter 1 and it's already all hell has already broken loose. It's starting to make a little more sense, so I understand. So they're trying to go find Andarna's family. So she's the seventh kind, and that's the mission, right? The mission is to go find the seventh kind, and the leaders are gonna let her basically do that because they think Andarna's the key to fighting this war, and she's gonna have she's just gonna be the key to fighting the war. So they're going to let Violet go, and she wants to take the team with her, meaning like Riddick, Sawyer, and Imogen and Rhiannon. And Sawyer, we know, lost his leg in the last battle, and now he's like on crutches and stuff. But I'm sorry, at the end of chapter 1, and I'm already freaking out because they were like on post to look for the venom, and somehow the venom are inside. They're inside. The venom are already inside. This is just chapter 1. Oh. Okay, so I just finished chapter 2, and the last sentence that Xaden says is, "Scared yet?" Yes, bitch! Yes, I'm fucking scared. I'm terrified. Why is this book scarier? Why is it scarier? The venom being inside, they were like dressed in their capes and their hoods, so they were like hiding as cadets. They were like disguising themselves, and that's how they were feeding. There's like corpses because there was just like a bunch of dead bodies that the venom got to because they infiltrated them somehow and were in the robes as the scribes, like hiding as scribes. Oh, there's too much going on already. So then Xaden just walks up to Violet and is just like, hey, and his eyes are like normal. They're like not red rimmed anymore. And everyone, like the crowd, the buddies, everyone, like Garrick and Sawyer, they're like, we don't trust you. And Miss Violet is like, no, it's fine. I trust him. He's like totally fine. He still loves me. Like, we're good. There's no problems here. We're gonna find him a cure, but he's fine. Uh, this is scaring me. This is terrifying me because now she says, how did you, with the shields up, like, how did you know I was in the interrogation room for him to come help her? And he's like, well, I sensed them. I'm sorry, you're sensing the venom? So The venom, you're sensing them. That's how they know. That's how he knew where to go. And they're sensing you back because you're one of them. Are you scared yet? Yes. Yes. Okay, I'm going to leave it here because I'm going to go to bed, even though I want to keep reading. We will continue this. No, because why am I cracking up? Because Kat, of course, is egging on Violet. Just talking shit. And she actually doesn't take it this time. She says, "Oh, shut up. You can't wield behind the ward, so stop trying to manipulate my emotions." That's a big difference from Iron Flame to now. She was so, you know, intimidated by her. Now she's just like, "Oh, shut up." I like this Violet. I love Violet. I think Xaden is definitely keeping secrets. Okay. And then also the way that she's not Violet, but the way that Xaden is like saying things, he sounds more dangerous. Like he's sounding dangerous and just like his tone of voice is like very, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know, but I feel like he's definitely holding secrets. And then do we know anything about the dad? Like what is going on with the dad? Because right now it seems like okay, this part I don't know. It says, "Enjoy your win, Xaden. Delaying the alliance is unfortunate, but we won. Your father would be proud." Right? And then Xaden says, "I highly doubt that." But why is Violet questioning why wouldn't he be happy about that? Like, why would the dad not be happy? I don't know. I'm confused. I don't know what's happening. But I don't like the way Xaden is sounding right now. Okay, so we now know that Garrick has a second signet. He is a distance wielder, aka a walker, meaning he can go really long distances, like super fast. And Darna has a name now. She is an Eri, Arid, Arid, Arid scorpion tail. I think that's the name. Yeah, but anyway, why does he have a second one? Like they're obviously the more signets, the more power they're gonna have. But is there something more to Garrick that makes him have one? Because Xaden already knew that he had this. Like none of this is surprising to Xaden, which is crazy because like he just like knows all the stuff that's happening. He just knows all of it. Like how does he just know all of it? I don't know. And then he gets in trouble, or actually Violet is in trouble. Oh my god. I love the way that she's just like sprinkling in where Xaden falls in like perfectly. She's just like dropping Xaden into the story. Like, sometimes in Romantasy, they like completely leave the MMC on some side mission way on another planet so far away, and you don't see them till like 79 chapters later, but like we're on chapter 12 and he was like, "Oh, really, ma'am, you are in trouble, Violet, because you went on some little mission that, my god, Taryn, I was freaking out because not Taryn getting knocked the fuck out. Okay, they landed, they got thrown into some hurricane tornado. No, it was a tornado. They got thrown into a tornado with the dark wielder. Some tornado happened, but who threw the tornado? I don't know. I'm not sure if they mentioned who actually wielded the tornado, because there's like a part on the top of the chapter that said something about like um, weather being on their side. They could be used as a weapon, but it didn't say who started this tornado. I don't know. But Taryn and Violet got thrown in this tornado and then thrown up against a mountain, and then it knocked the fuck out of the dragons. The dragons were literally like conked out. Garrett's dragon, Shardle, whatever that name is, and Taryn literally knocked the fuck out. Okay, and she fucks up her knee really bad, and then Garrick's there, and that's when she's like, "Wait, how'd you get here so fast?" So anyway, distance wielder takes them back to the war college. And then, that's when we see Xaden again. Xaden like pops up and he's like, "Ma'am, you're in fucking trouble. Get your ass over here. You are in trouble. And yeah, but oh my God, this is like the song where like Half a Man by, on Rebecca's playlist. Oh my God. He's like trying. I knew this was gonna happen. I knew this was one of the ways. I figured this was gonna be one of the ways where they were gonna have like they were not gonna be together. Because if he's part venom, he can't control himself. And like if he's channeling, he could hurt her, right? Or like take her. Basically, when you're channeling, it's like taking life away from whatever force you're standing next to, kind of like he did with the bed. Like he was like taking force out of that, or like the color out of the bed. So like who knows what he could do if he could like touches her and like is like clearly in the moment of like the heat and the passion. So he doesn't want to do that, which I figured it was going to be either that or like being completely separated. So they're not being separated, but there's definitely some challenges here, which, oh, it's giving us yearning. Like we're getting so much good yearning. So what else? Yeah, I think that's I think that's it. But there's a lot of yearning. I'm like highlighting everything, but okay. Okay, wait. So here's another point that actually I did notice. They just mentioned it. You know how like in Harry Potter, when there's like schools, they just like go on about their school life like there's not a war happening on around them. It's kind of like they'll be like in book 7 and they're still like in school and there's like clearly like the world is coming to an end type thing. But yeah, they just mentioned a line of that in this chapter where she's just like the teachers have a really good way of making everything feel routine, like we're not in the middle of a war. Physics with the new professor, since Grady is busy organizing the quest. Like we're going over like math and magic, which is funny. Like, shouldn't they be like training how to use their powers and stuff instead of going to history class and math class? So weird. Okay, I gotta say something. Iron Flame, it's not that they were miscommunicated. I know a lot of people said there was like miscommunication. While there might have been some miscommunication, they just weren't like they weren't around each other to communicate. So how was that a miscommunication, because they couldn't communicate. And pigeons, bringing letters back and forth just wasn't a thing. But I think Rebecca, oh my God, they are far apart. Okay, they are far apart, but they are writing letters to each other. Okay, not her sprinkling the fact that she probably heard us complaining that they didn't talk or there was miscommunication, and she went and fixed that by adding, I don't know how they're getting these letters. It's a handwritten. She says it's on here. I break the seal and smile at Zayden's handwriting. Okay, it's handwritten letters. So we're going from terrible to miscommunication, no communication in Iron Flame, to now they're like, this makes me so happy. This makes me so happy. I don't know. It's making me happy, but there's at least some communication happening between Violet and Zayden. So there's that. Oh my God, Riddick is he's the comedic relief. I am obsessed with him. I love him so much. He just called out. They're fighting over, them acting like couples and stuff. And Riddick just called out Violet and Zayden, telling them they fight like an old married couple. And he's like, it's always the same fight. I'll trust you if you stop keeping secrets. I can't. Oh my God, Riddick is, oh my God, I'm dying. That is perfect. Okay, well, what's today? Wednesday now? I made tea because I'm still sick, but you know what? I'm trying to still avoid the internet because spoilers, and I need to finish Onyx Storm. So, even an emotion is considered a spoiler. So I don't want to see your emotions either, people, on any social media platform. I don't want to see emotions. So anyway, okay, I had to make tea, but I wanted to come see my editions of the book. One sec, of course I left it in the dark here. Someone was saying that the edition was like not closing correctly. So I'm gonna lay you down so we can see if that's true. Okay, so this is my Target edition that I picked up yesterday. No, this is not the Target edition. This is the deluxe edition. The Target one is this one. Okay, so I guess that's what they're talking about. So you see it doesn't close all the way. Oh, okay. I mean, I'm not reading the physical copies. I'm reading it on my Kindle, so I haven't really like sat there with the book to like know if it feels weird or not, but I'll probably, I mean, I don't see why this would be, it is not closing. I wonder if that's a binding issue or like what that is. I don't know. I mean, it looks fine on the edges. I don't see an issue with the edges. And the you know how last time they were talking crap about the black sprayed edges weren't even. So they are even this time. But yeah, it does. I wonder why that is. I don't know. I have no idea, but it is closing kind of funny here at the back. So, and I think they're both as a Target edition, which I did notice, like when I got the copy down here, it's a little, I mean, it's not bad. It's just a little tiny like dent in the dust jacket down here. So, I mean, whatever. And then this one, see the edges, the sprayed edges are like super black, I think, compared to this one. Yeah, see, look, this one looks way blacker. The Target one versus this one, the Red Tower. This is Red Tower, this is Target. So this one just looks crisper, like crispier. You know, I don't know if that's the right word here. Let me adjust the phone real quick. I want to see if I can add a little more light. I know it's nighttime. I know, people. I know. Lighting sucks. Okay. Yeah, see, but like this one looks darker than this one. This one, you can just tell there's like inconsistency in the way that they sprayed it versus that one looks just way darker. So I don't know what I mean, I don't know. I'm assuming it's just paint, but some sort of book paint. Is there a difference? I don't know nothing about book bindings. What do I know? I just know they look super pretty on my shelves. That's really all I know. Okay, but let's open this one because I wanted to see if there was that weird opening. Yeah, I think this one's gonna have it too. So this one has the dragon in the front. And yeah, this one doesn't close right from the back. That's so weird. I mean, other people's gaps were a lot bigger than this one. This one's definitely not as like a large of a gap, I guess. As I've seen in that one story I saw, I only saw one person talk about it, and then my friend and I compared ours, and she's like, oh my God, yeah, I thought it felt weird in my hand, but yeah, it does look weird when you try to close it. Not a lot, but a little bit. Anyway, and then we all heard by now the more controversy with these art prints, right? I guess, I don't know if they're stolen art or if it's art from something else that they just reused in her book. Maybe it had nothing to do specifically with Onyx Storm. I mean, page 84. And again, I hope you guys are watching this after you've already read Onyx Storm. So this isn't a spoiler, but I'm going to put this in the, in the description of the book anyway. I mean, this is a scene where, okay, this is a scene with a tornado and where Violet and Taryn are stuck in the tornado. So, I mean, this is accurate, I guess. The scene is accurate with the dragon here. This one here, I am already past this scene as well. Oh, this is when they go to rescue
Um, right? Is this when they go to rescue? Oh, no, this is when they're just trying to convince them who to take on the mission or on the quest. So honestly, I don't know what this has to do with this particular chapter here or this page. And then I'm not this far into it yet, so I don't know what this last artwork has to do with because I'm not there yet, but there is one more. So I am not going to read ahead, so I don't know if this is relevant, but that's the art. And yeah, what they've been saying online is that it's just stolen art. I don't know what they mean by stolen. Maybe that it was from a different artist and they just used it and the artist wasn't aware. I mean, that's the only definition of stolen that I know of. But again, this isn't on Rebecca. This is on Red Tower books. So, you know, that's kind of shitty that they're doing that. But that is the copies. It's not like they you know, and all this stuff doesn't come out until after we buy the dang books. So what are you going to do? I mean, I want these books. So anyway, but I did want to share something because I read Fourth Wing in the paper. I reread Fourth Wing in the paperback edition. The first one I read was the original version, right? So this is the OG version that came from Target as well. And this is the first time I read it on here. And I didn't even know it was going to be special edition. You know, when it first came out, I was just like, I want it. But I didn't think it was going to be what it is today. It's obviously grown. But like, I just happened to buy one and it had the sprayed edges, and little did we know later that was also going to be limited edition. But this book was like really nice. I mean, it really was nice, other than the small inconsistencies with the edges. Like, there is one in the middle there that you can see more than the other. But anyway, what I was going to point out is this copy right here. I really enjoyed reading because it's like super big and like floppy. I really did like this, but there, you know, the one thing was when I was reading through it, it kept stopping me in this one specific section. So like this is, I don't know if this is like the middle of the book. This is page 286. But like when I was reading over here, it kept wanting to, you see it like kept wanting to like go to this page. So it was like distracting me that I kept like when I was like flipping through it and stuff, it kept wanting to go back to this page. So that was kind of annoying. And then once I got past this page, it was fine. But then I also noticed that my spine broke. And I'm like, did I do that? I don't remember doing that myself. I do not remember, because I don't break spines on my books, ever. Like, I'm just not a spine breaker. Like, I'm super careful. But I don't know if that just happened because of this too in the middle. That the binding is just really weird in the middle of the book. And it just, like, happened to be that. It just happened to do that. But anyway, I enjoyed reading on this book because it was large and it was really floppy, but I did not like that. And I definitely did not do that. I don't even know when that happened, or it was just so like delicate that it just like did it once I was like, you know, when you read the book, I mean, you have to somewhat like lay it flat. So I don't know when that happened. But yeah, my spine broke on my Fourth Wing edition, which is kind of a bummer, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it's not like I don't have, I mean, I also have this edition, which is the Christmas special red cover edition that they did, I think, on Amazon. So I got this one too, but this one I've never read. This one I just got because it was a collector's item. This one I didn't notice anything crazy about it. Yeah, so anyway, book bindings are interesting. Copy that I read. Nothing wrong with this one other than the pages are darker, as I can tell here. But yeah, I read this version of Iron Flame, this copy, and I don't know why I stopped tabbing it. I think I was just like, you know, if you read Iron Flame, I think I was just annoyed. I was annoyed a lot. The first time I read this, I was annoyed at Violet, more so, I don't know. I was just annoyed at the redundancy and like the repetitiveness of the book. And I just remember being so irritated that the same conversation and the same fight was being had over and over. So that was just driving me nuts. And I think I was just like, I mean, obviously I wanted to finish the book, but I think I was just over tabbing it. Because at that point, I like wasn't angry at Xaden, but I kind of was. I was just annoyed at both of them. And I don't think I wanted to tab it anymore. So that's my only explanation that I can think of for why I didn't finish tabbing this book. I mean, the end was fine. You know, we all know the end, how that ended, and how that was also devastating. But yeah, this copy also was a little inconsistent with the black edges. But you know what does look good? I'll show you guys what does look good. Okay, so they have acquired, she has requested all of the people from her squad to go on the mission, right? And they approved it at the Samarium, whatever. And Riddick really wants to go, which someone was saying that they were a little sus of Riddick, like why is he trying to go? But I can't find a motive as to why Riddick would betray Vi at this point. Like what, he's like loyal, he's great, like I don't know, but people are getting weird feelings about it in our group chat as of right now. So I don't get that vibe. But anyway, Holden, right? Prince Holden is one of the people that they're taking, because he's the one who speaks the language that's gonna talk to the king about getting something. I don't remember if it's for the cure. I don't know. But anyway, they need Holden. So once they cross the ocean, right? Now picture this. This is cracking me up. There is so much humor in this book. It's it's laugh out loud funny. So because they've got, you know, Holden's not a writer, so he's got to get from point A to point B somehow. So they have figured out a way to bring Halden and his guard across the ocean. And they're basically putting them in baskets. So I guess we're gonna imagine like a griffin. So somehow one of the people on the squad has a griffin and not a dragon. And they're putting Halton, which is the prince, right? Which is Violet's ex, on a basket on the side of a griffin. So he's just like, all I could picture is like, I don't know, like I'm gonna insert a little gif if I can remember to put it here, but like, you know, on the side, like it's just too funny, like picturing the prince on the side of like dragons, like just like with the little dorky little helmet on, because he's kind of nerdy, all right? He is not. And then actually Taryn makes um makes a comment when they land, right? And he's like trying to get out of his little basket and he like rips something off because he's just like so annoyed from being in the basket. And Taryn's comment is basically like, yeah, I can really see why you fell in love with that one. And Violet's comment is like, listen, I was 18 and he was handsome, all right? Like, what do you want from me? But yeah, that was so funny. There's just so many good one-liners in here. Like the writing has just, I don't know what happened, but the writing just got so much better in here. Every line has like a point. I feel like there's no dead space in the conversations. I feel, or in the chapters, you know, I feel like there's like so much, just every point is like a just killing it with every paragraph, every line. Like I have so many things highlighted on Kindle. So and then Taryn um being a dad to Andarna. Pick your tail off the ground right now. Where do you think we are? The Vale? I'm sorry. I don't know if anyone else thinks this is funny, but I was just I've just been so, it's been so funny. And then so okay, so they've crossed the ocean, and when when they've crossed this ocean, they can't access their power, so they don't have their pathways. There's no communication. All the dragons have lost the communication with the riders and well, not the griffins. The griffins don't speak to their people anyway, but yeah, like Mara can't speak to Tane, but Violet is the only one that can still talk to Taryn and Darna. So that's interesting. She's the only one that can do it. So then they're on the search to finding the tomes that her dad left. So then they go into the place where we think that
they are, which is a library. No, it's not a library, it's a bookstore. And the scene that sets up for the bookstore, also hilarious. I could just picture them, right? So, and mind you, we don't even get told it's a bookstore till like after she sets the scene. She's setting the scene, and everyone is like on guard, waiting for someone to just pop out of the she just calls it the shop at one point. So, she's just I could just imagine like everyone's just like, and then at the end she's like, in a bookstore. Like, come on, like anything's gonna happen in a bookstore. But actually something does happen in the bookstore, which is funny because, they the daughter of this Arel lady actually does come out. What's her name? Is that her name? Arel? I think that's her name. Um she does come out and then she asks, she's like, yeah, I know who you are. I've been waiting for you. You're the daughter of Sorengale, whatever the dad's name is. So yeah, like, yeah, I'm here to help you. Like, I know what you come here for. You came here for his books. And then she wants to ask him 3 questions. And so, of course, she's got to ask the questions because which was interesting too, the dad wanted to bring, it wasn't a tool, but it was like something to help them figure out this riddle. And it's her brain because she's just incredibly smart. Like she's a knowledge person. Like she needs knowledge, like she retains knowledge. And you know who she reminds me of? That character, Grey's sister in Grey's Anatomy. She was like that. She retained so much information and she could read it and like memorize it. She had like a photographic memory, which is not the same thing, but like very much so because she can read it and literally recite it like it's nothing, like it's song lyrics to us, song lyrics we can remember, but the stuff that she remembers is like historical stuff, like stuff in books. And yeah, so her brain is what she brought herself, her mind is what she brought to this bookstore to get the books for the dad. Yeah, also Xaden being jealous. I can't I can't get over what's better. Like the tree, like she is so jealous. I mean, Xaden is so jealous of both Halden and Dane. And then the fact that like Xaden was complimenting Dane and Dane's like, wait a second. Why are you complimenting me? What did you give him? What's wrong here? Why am I getting compliments from Xaden? Yeah, he has some good one-liners, but there was this part was so funny where he's like, how come everyone, oh yeah, because the lady thinks she confuses Xaden and Dane, right? So she's like, oh yeah, your dad was right. I knew you were going to end up with this handsome one, da 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 da, and like all this, whatever. And she's looking at Xaden, but she calls him Dane. So of course, everyone's like, oh my god, and Violet's just like, fucking kill me now, like seriously, like I can't get out of this, like for the life of me anywhere I go. And Xaden makes a comment of like, yeah, you know what, everyone thinks she's gonna end up with you, but at the end of the day she leaves with my jacket with my last name on it. And then he's like, we don't have last names on our back of our jackets. And he's like, and you, what did he say, and you get the fucking point. Yeah, so Xaden is just jealous and I'm here for it. I am here for it. I love it so freaking much. Um yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'm on chapter 25 now. I might read another chapter before bed. All right, so it is a day or two later. And I have another update for you guys. And I'm still recovering, but I sound a whole lot better than I did the other day. So where we left off was I was about to read chapter 25. And if you're here, I imagine you've already read the book. I would hope so, because otherwise this is completely spoiling the book for you. But chapter 25, Chef's Kiss. Finally, I was so excited. I was kicking my feet the entire time during this chapter because finally they have some time. And
the way that Xaden finally, they're like, so they have to go, they're trying to, you know, do all these negotiations or whatever, and they're trying to go up to their room and rest, right? That's where we left off at. And they're like, so what's your title here, Xaden? Like, we can understand, like, are you a teacher here? Are you the Duke? And the way that he words it, basically, they're like, you're not a teacher here. And he's like, great, cool. And you know how it's illegal per the code to have a relationship between student and teacher. So Xaden was like, great, I'm not a teacher. So he literally scoops up Violet and they scurry off to the room because they're not considering him, they're not honoring him being a teacher on this mission. So yeah, that was fantastic. And then they have their moments, Violet had some really good lines in here as well, and it was just perfect. I love the scene. I literally read it, I think, 3 times. I read the chapter 3 times just because there's been so much anticipation, and the fact that there was just no magic other than the venom part of him, which he's just like, you know what I am, and she's just like, I love all of you. Like, I don't care that you're, you know, I know what you're saying, and I don't care. Like, I love every part of you. So that was great. And then although she mentions a little bit later in the book how it's not the same to them because, well, it's not the same to her because they can't, there's no shadows. Okay, so there's no shadows, there's no lightning, and they're not in each other's thoughts. So I guess that just intensifies the feeling even more so. So it's without that. So yeah, she's still missing that part. They still haven't got to that part yet, but whatever, it was enough. And of course, at the end of that chapter, they get interrupted, right, by Riddick and by the whole crew. Mira's there and Riddick's there and Kat, I think, and they're just like, yeah, sorry, we got to interrupt, we got some bad news. And he's just like, really, like, one night and we can't have our time together. And basically they're like, well, they've stolen the prince, so Halden. So he was supposed to go negotiate something at this at one of the aisles with one of the people there. I can't remember the name of the one who holds one of the kingdoms in the Isles, right? But he was sent there to recover something or to get something or to speak on behalf of them, from Aurelius, or, you know, they call it the continent, but then there's another name that she mentions again. I think it's like Aurelius or Aurelius, something like that, is an actual name of the continent. But he fucks it up. So they have to go rescue his ass now. So then they go, and then basically the queen there is like, sure, you can take him back, but you're gonna all, like, we're gonna challenge you all. So they set up this challenge where who's fighting? Dane, Violet, and Xaden are put up against a physical fight with no, well, clearly there's no magic. So they have to physically fight and put up a fight between the 3 of them and 3 of their best soldiers. So thankfully Dane's, you know, at the end of this scene, at the end of this chapter, Dane's passed the fuck out because, you know, he's not the best of the fighters. Or he's like second best, I don't know, but maybe the other fighter I think was like a lot bigger than Dane, so he was like on his neck and like almost passing out. But of course, you know, Xaden's over there holding his own, but Violet comes and like saves the day, and she is in a scene where I think she is almost, but she's trying not to focus on the other 2. She just wants to focus on her fight, because otherwise if she gets distracted, she will lose. So what happens is that she's at the end and she like sees that Xaden is like almost gonna be daggered in the neck, so she throws her dagger, and then you know, Xaden is able to escape that, and then she kills his, or no, she doesn't kill the queen because she's fighting the queen. She just tells her to yield, you know, and the queen eventually yields, and then that's how they're able to take the damn prince away. So they leave that island, and then they go back to, I think they go back, do they go back to Basgiath? I think they go back to Basgiath, and they basically switch out Halden for Eric. Yeah. because they're like, yeah, he's doing Holden shit, doing Holden things. And that was another thing I forgot about. Eric was hiding from Holden. So they're brothers, right? They're both princes. And well, I don't remember why he was hiding from him, but he was hiding from him. So he comes out and he's just like, yeah, I've been here the whole time, dude. Like, F you, I don't really care for you, but I'm going now. And Holden's going to stay behind because he sucks. He's not, we don't care for Holden. So back they go to there's all these islands, which is great because we had heard talk about the isles in Iron Flame, but that was not discovered at all. So we're just going on all these side quests again. So now we're bringing the crew again. Quest, what's it called? The quest Reddick has a really good name for it. I think it's like Quest, I forgot what it's called, but he calls it the Quest something. And so now they're back trying to go, they still haven't found shit. They still haven't found the cure. They still haven't found Andarna's kind. So they're going back out to more isles and they're running out of time here. So they go back out there with Eric and they go to another isle and lo and behold, it's Zayden's mother. So Talia is Zayden's mother. And now she's on this other isle and turns out she's remarried and has sons now. So she has like 3 sons. And we really didn't know anything about Talia. So now we know that Talia, came over here to this island and married this, what's his name? Son. And she just like pretty much left her life, left behind Zayden. Oh, Nairi. So anyway, they have a whole other house over here on this isle. This is a completely different isle that they're at. And now they're like, do you want to ally with us? Because we're trying to fight this war. The Venin are going to come and you can either be our ally or they're going to, suck the life out of you. They're going to drain you. And they're like, well, we don't have magic here. She's like, you don't fucking need magic. They're going to drain you. Like, do you understand? They're just going to, you're going to be putty on the floor. Like, you don't need to be magic. They're just going to drain you of whatever human or non-human, whatever that you have. Anyway, this scene was really interesting, and this is where I left off. Dear Lord, this gave me so much anxiety too. So this chapter basically, we don't trust anybody here. So half of the crew is outside, and the dragons, it's like kind of an open area. So the dragons, Andarna and Taryn and Sigil are all kind of like sitting perched outside on this wall, and half of them go inside this castle thing, but it's kind of like open. I don't know if they can like see the dragons from where they're at, but yeah, anyway, Mira is left out there with Dane, I think. Anyway, half of them are left outside, half of them go inside. So then they're like, yeah, let's go to this dinner, let's get cleaned you up and we'll go to this dinner and, then we'll talk. So they get cleaned up, they go to this dinner with the mom and she kind of figures, he's like attacking her. Zayden's basically like, yeah, whatever, you fucking left me. And she brings out their food and they're eating food and it's just like vegetables and chicken, nothing crazy. And then she brings out dessert. And this is when shit goes crazy, right? This is when the shit is just like goes fucking insane. And like, my God, Rebecca. Oh my God, Rebecca. Literally, that meme happens here. So this is a scene where we know that something's off. Like when I listened to the audio book on this chapter, because I was kind of going back and forth. But anyway, she's like, I brought you chocolate cake. Like for dessert, I'm going to bring chocolate cake. Okay. So all the servants bring out this chocolate cake for dessert. And some of them don't have forks. So like the main people of the aisle, right? So Nairi and Ferris and Roslyn and Talia, which is the mom, they don't get forks. And only the rest of the crew. So we have Garrick and we have Zayden and Violet at the table. And let's see. I want to say Kat, Garrick, Zayden, and Violet are the four that are at this dinner table with them. So anyway, I think she senses what's wrong and she says it in her mind. She says something's wrong and she knocks the fork before Zayden can take a bite of the chocolate cake because chocolate cake is his favorite, all right? She knocks the fork out of his hand and she says, don't, don't. By the time she looks over, Garrick has eaten half the fucking cake. Okay, this boy inhaled the cake and he's just like, yeah, it's really good. It tastes like, and then basically plops over and stops breathing. So now he's on the floor. And tell me why this scene, this chapter 36, so much anxiety. Did anyone else get anxiety? Because I was at the edge of my seat screaming and yelling. And I'm like, no, you can't kill Garrick. Like, please don't tell me that you just killed off Garrick. Oh my God, this scene, this chapter was horrible. She, in turn, not only did they try to poison her, Violet had already done poisoned them before she knew they were poisoning them back. What? That was insane. So she poisoned it with the she brought wine. It was not like wine. It's like minty, air mint, something like that. It's like a tea, but it's like supposed to be meant to be like a, kind of like a wine, I guess, like a delicacy drink that you have like in tea. She actually poisoned that and she gave it to all of them before they sat to dinner. And it was, and there was comments of like they weren't feeling good. They're like, oh, my stomach, her stomach. And I was like, what's up with their stomachs? Yeah, she poisoned them before she knew that they had come back and poisoned all the chocolate cake for them to be poisoned. And it was Nairi, so Talia had nothing to do with it, which is interesting. Whatever. I mean, I don't like the mother anyway. Fuck her. But so she didn't know that he was supposedly poisoning her son. She's like, you're trying to poison my son? Anyway, it was like a tug of war back and forth or whatever. And he's like not telling her the cure. And she's like, that's fine. Well, you're going to die in like an hour. So I'm not telling your ass the cure until you give me the cure. So they're going back and forth and she's trying to figure out what's in the cake and smell it and go to the kitchen. They go to the kitchen. They find the cook. And Riddick, my dear Riddick, goes with Violet and they're running after the cook. Okay, tell me why my heart stopped. Because they're fighting with the cook and she's like, yeah, you're gonna tell me what you put in it. And he's like fighting and he's like trying to throw daggers and stuff. And at one point she figures out what was the item that was in the cake. She's trying to figure it out. And at that point, somehow the cook gets loose off the daggers and he starts running and then Riddick goes after him. And then we get the scene. We get the scene where apparently he threw a dagger at Riddick's side. I was driving and I yelled. I was like, no. Because if we have to choose right now before Rebecca killing off Garrick, okay, and that sounds like he was still breathing over there. So you're going to save Garrick and kill off Riddick? Oh my God. So I'm yelling and screaming as I'm listening to the audiobook driving on the freeway. Okay, my anxiety was over the top. I don't even know. I couldn't have recorded myself anyway if I wanted to. But she's like, oh my God, like, I can't believe it. Like, no, you can't die. And then as she's taking off, she's like trying to find the wound. He takes the fucking dagger out of his side and it's his armor. So his armor got hit and he only got scratched. God damn it. Oh my God, Rebecca, I would have been so pissed off at you if something would have happened to Riddick. But thankfully he was fine. But yeah, he definitely, he had my heart in my mouth. Like my heart was in my stomach. I was gonna be sick. We're so attached to these characters, y'all. Anyway, they save Garrick and they're barfing and she gives them the antidote and I think they're gonna ally together. So now they're going back to another island. So now they're on to another island. Now they've settled that isle. Now they're going on to the next isle. This one I didn't really care for. I felt like it was a little repetitive. Like, all right, get to the point. Like, we need to find the goddamn antidote at this point, the cure, and we need to find a darkness kind. Like, we still haven't found any. We've gone to all these freaking islands and all these places. So this one, she's like, yeah, great. I'm so happy you're here. This is a different queen, right? She's like, yeah, great. I'm happy you're here. Um, and then like, well, let's just speak to your queen so we can get this over with. And they're like, yeah, sure. We're just gonna have to pass this test. And they're like, here we go again. We already know how this goes. We're gonna have to pass some sort of test that they're going to give us, right? Because they're just not going to make it easy for us. So anyway, so now they're going to pass this test. So she's like, no, 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 it's fine. We're going to give you these gifts, right? They're going to give you these gifts. My guy, my guy, my guy. This lady gives them all a gift. And then there's another character in here. That's the one that Kat was kind of was Traeger. So Traeger's the other character that's with them. And that's the one that's always had a crush on Kat. And now Kat gave him the time of day. So that's that couple. Well, anyway, he fucking dies at the end of this chapter because one of the gifts is the arrow. So the arrow, yeah, the arrow goes right through his heart and he just plops dead. So yeah, it's a shit show. And of course she feels guilty, but she's leading this mission, right? Violet's leading the mission. So she just, you know, if you react, you're not going to be able to see the queen, and this mission is going to just go to shit. This is the last isle. There's nothing else. And his death is going to be in vain. So please contain yourself. And Xaden's trying to help her focus this time, which is crazy because Violet's the one holding him together the whole motherfucking book. And now Xaden's like, all right, I got you. Like, let's settle down. Don't react. Like, we have to stay thankful. So you have to stay thankful, even though they just killed one of your squad mates, you know? These people are evil. I hate the Isles. I hate the Isles. Everyone on here has been just so shitty. Ugh. But anyway, so yeah, so now she's got to say thank you, and that's where I'm at. So, I mean, it's been definitely a recap of the book here, and now I'm on page 469, chapter 39. Okay, so I made it to 91%. So I'm on chapter 60, and I'm pretty sure there's less than 70 chapters. So I'm towards the end, and oh my God, I am like on the edge of my seat for this whole freaking book. Theophany kidnapped Mira and Tiny. So she took her, and when they finally got to her where they were at, Violet and Xaden, and notices that, so yeah, they're gonna go save Mira, right? But then she notices that Arik and his dragon are flying in the opposite direction. So what is that? Why are they flying in an opposite direction? I don't know. There's so much weird stuff happening. But then basically Sloane shows up with a rune, and she, because we know that from Iron Flame, she's able to like transfer power. She can be used as like a middle, kind of like a conduit, basically. She can be used to like transfer power from one source to another, is how I'm understanding it. So Brennan okay, let's forget. Let me say this one part. Theophany Mira, right? And I screamed. I was like, I mean, I know she's kind of a pain in the butt, but I don't want her to be gone. I don't want her to be dead. So, oh my God, she freaking slices her throat. But thank God Brennan's there, because Brennan's the healer. So he's the healer, and he goes, and oh my God, it's like all hell breaks loose, and he's like trying, like, oh my God, it's like a lethal cut, right? So thank God Brennan's there, and he's holding it. He's like, I can't do anything. I can't do anything. Like, it's too far gone. But anyway, Sloane shows up, and Sloane is going to be a conduit to give between Dane. He can take Dane's power because he doesn't need to wield. So she's going to be the middle conduit between Dane and Brennan so that he can use that power to heal
Mira. That's wild. That's so wild to me. But that's how these powers work. So that's what she's going to do. And thank God that happens. But now I don't know. I don't trust Dane. I don't trust Dane, and now I don't trust Eric. I feel like something weird's happening. Zayden didn't really do much here other than they're trying, like, they're getting attacked by like the Wyvern and the Dark Wielders. Like, so they're just trying to like hurry up on the ground, and who knows where the hell Theophany went off to. And now Zayden's got to go because there's more trouble ahead. And yeah, that's where I'm at. Also, I didn't vlog this part, but like, and Darna, the part where so the Irids came and saved them when they were being attacked at Beskaya. So it was like an surprise attack. And they were gonna be gone. Okay, there was gonna be no more of any of them. And then the Irids came and basically all the Wyvern dropped out of the sky. So they used her power. But he was like, yeah, great, I saved your human, but now you're gonna have to come to me so that you can learn all your powers, because he's actually her family. Leathan, I think that's his name, one of the Irids. That's actually his family. So, and Darna chose to go. Oh my god, that was so sad. I can't believe it. Darna's not. I think she's gonna come back around. I have a feeling she's not gone. Maybe she's just gonna be gone for a little while, but I just don't think she's gonna be gone forever. Like, oh, that would suck so bad. Um, yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'm at the last night. I'm at the last couple chapters here. I'm gonna take a little break though to go get some ice cream before it gets like super late, because I wanted to get ice cream today. I've been craving ice cream. I had pad thai for dinner, and now I want ice cream so I can finish. I can finish this book, and hopefully this book does not finish me, because these spoilers are getting harder and harder. Everyone's posting on their stories. Everyone's posting their Instagram posts. I haven't even been on Goodreads. I can't even post on Goodreads. Like it's all over Threads. Forget about TikTok. So I can't go on anything. I have to finish it tonight. And then my friend was at the Rebecca Yarrow's event in Philly. So she got to see her talk, and she's sending us videos, but I also don't want to watch them just yet because I know they've got some spoilery talk in them. They're trying to ask her questions and stuff, which is wild because the book's only been out for 4 days. Like, not everyone's gonna finish it in like a day. Like, it's crazy. So yeah, I guess she sent us a bunch of videos, so I'm excited to watch that. But yeah, I gotta hurry up and finish it because literally the spoilers are coming like in every direction, and if I don't like swipe up, I'm gonna definitely miss the ending, and I don't want to do that. I mean, we don't want to do that, but I'm gonna film my reaction here to the last chapter or two. And final thoughts.
Well, so I finished it last night. I finished Onyx Storm, and I wanted to just do a finished closeout of what my final thoughts were for the book. There's so much to literally go into, and I've been just watching now that I can go back on the internet and not be worried about spoilers. Now I'm going back. I've spent all morning on the internet because I finished this book at about 10 p.m. last night, and I just had to have non I just had to have all the conversations with myself because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. And the two friends that I'm doing the buddy read with aren't done yet, so couldn't talk to them about it. So I'm literally just voicing all these opinions to myself out into the void, literally staring at the wall because the cliffhanger at the end. Anyway, where I left off at and my final thoughts. So I don't know what else you want from a fantasy series. I think this book, other than one small piece, when they had jumped in, when they were in the aisles and they jumped to that very last aisle, so we know they went to 3 different aisles. When they jumped to the very last aisle, there was a point where I thought, okay, all right, like, we know there's nothing happening. We're not going to get anything from these aisles. So I was kind of just like, let's go somewhere else and like figure out where the dragons are. Let's go find a cure for Xaden somewhere else because we're not getting any of that here. There was a small portion, maybe like a page or two, where I was kind of like over the aisles. But then quickly we discovered that that last aisle was where the Irids were. That's the abandoned aisle that had, I don't think it really had a name unless I'm mistaken. Again, I'm going to reread this book at some point, but I don't think it had a name, but that's where all the Irids were. And what a huge disappointment. What a huge heartbreaking scene anyway, because they basically rejected Andarna. That was so sad.
But it's not, I mean, it wasn't really their fault because they were upset that they're using her as a weapon. The elder dragons or whatever are part of her family, and she's not supposed to be used for that. But again, no one really knew. It's not like they had a handbook for, dragons. There's a codex, but they didn't really knew much about her. They didn't know much about her kind or how that happened. But them telling her that she's not allowed back on the island, and they really don't want anything to do with her because dragons aren't supposed to be bonded to humans, and they don't do that in their isle. Like, they went onto this whole tangent, so that was so heartbreaking. And poor Andarna, stormed off. The isles itself were great. I feel like so much happened on those isles between what Halden did without anyone's knowledge, and them getting the gifts, and from the other isle, and then also Traeger being stabbed, but in true fashion. They got the army. That was heart-wrenching because I was kind of, not that I love Kat, I don't love Kat, but she's not interjecting into their relationship anymore. She's kind of like just there because she's needed. So I'm okay with her. She's not bothering me where she's like antagonizing or causing grief for Xaden and Violet. So, the fact that she was getting into this relationship with Traeger, and then they do that to him, was so sad. I wasn't completely devastated by that. Now, the death that did devastate me. Okay, first of all, Riddick being stabbed. Okay, was not okay. That was not okay. I couldn't read fast enough. I was like terrified to read the next part to make sure that he was okay. And then him yelling at the cook, telling him he hates sewing. Of course, he has to come back with some sort of comedic relief because thank God he was okay. He disappeared from the last couple chapters. I'd have to go back and reread where the last chapter was where he was in, but unless I missed it, but I don't, where was he in the last couple chapters? He definitely wasn't in the last 2 chapters. And we did not get a Riddick POV, unless I missed it, which again, I might have to go back and reread if he got his own POV chapter, which that was a breath of fresh air. Also, okay, and I'm sorry this is all over the place. I'm just remembering all these thoughts. When I first looked at the audiobook on Audible for Onyx Storm, there was only Rebecca Sailors, whatever her name is, the voice actor. There was only one actress, okay, doing Onyx Storm. Now that we got to the end of the audiobook, because I wasn't really listening to the whole audiobook, I was just reading on my Kindle so that I can highlight and focus and stop and read at my own pace. I didn't want the audiobook with it, but every now and then I did do a chapter or two, and then when I was in the car, I did like a chapter or two only. But it wasn't on purpose. I just wanted to fully read it with my eyeballs and like catch everything with my eyeballs and not miss anything. But at the end, when we get Rhiannon's POV, we get Imogen's POV, and we get Xaden's POV. Hello, those 3 actors are now listed on the audiobook. Okay, they were not there to begin with. So touche, Rebecca, touche, for Teddy Hamilton being Xaden's voice. And yeah, I loved having the POVs. I did not think we were going to get other POVs just because I saw initially it was only the one voice actress. But anyway, yeah, so Riddick's fine. And then Mira getting, okay, that hurt a lot more than I thought. Granted, I'm not the hugest stand for Mira, and she still causes a little of mistrust in me, even though the dad thinks that we should be trusting her. But I don't know. I that tore me up. I was like, there's no way. There's no way, because of course she's yelling to Malek at this point. Violet is, and she's like, you already took this away. You already took this away from me. You already took, the man I love is like, over there, half evil, morally gray man. You took my mother away. Like, you cannot take my sister away too. So, the scene after that where Sloane comes in and she siphons between the Brennan and Dane, fantastic. I mean, everything was just so well done. I was just in shock. In every chapter, I was just in shock. What else do you want? There was so much. The spicy scenes, I've already mentioned this one, but the spicy scenes between chapter 25 and chapter 48 with the chair. Do we act it out? Do we all act it out? Because the shadows,
fantastic. Like, that was so freaking great. I swear to God, I keep thinking of the line, I live by the codex, I live by you. Like, I fucking want that tattooed somewhere on me at this point. Like, I cannot stop thinking of all the lines that were just so, so, so great. Even Violet. I mean, Violet's a romantic when it comes to her man, right? Her man, her man, her man, and that's her man, and I'm all for it. Riddick's one-liners. I mean, one-line bangers were all throughout this freaking book. It was so funny, which I did not expect. And Darna, leaving at the end was the saddest freaking thing ever. I can't believe that happened. And then she went into like a deep depression because she was just gone. She literally just disappeared. Okay, so we know that the Lethuan, something, whatever his name is, which I knew he'd come back for her. I did not think that, as heart-wrenching as that scene was where all the dragons had left her and told her, I kind of knew they were going to be back. Did I know they were going to come back and save the day? No, but it fits. It fits the plot of the book. Because they were gonna all be gone if it wasn't for him. So, but them coming back and being like, great, now I saved your human and I saved you. Now we got to go back and train over here with your kind. Like, I'm your family. We got to go back over here and train. And yeah, that was heart-wrenching. But I also said to myself, she'll be back. I don't know if she'll be back at the end of this book or in book like 4. She'll be back. Like, we haven't seen the end of Andarna, so I was trying to like hold myself together and like not think that was the end of Andarna as we know it. So, and we saw that she did. She came back at the end, in the last chapter there, and showed up. So, yeah, I'm happy for that. The death of Quinn from Imogen's POV, we all know that was I mean, I shed a tear. I was shedding tears during that chapter, and I think I didn't remember, I wasn't as attached to Quinn, but I do feel for Imogen because I love Imogen. So just it being from her point of view just like hit even harder. And like the ending line, whatever her ending line was there, like, we made it fun here or something like that, like how they met on the parapet. That was so sad for Imogen. All the couples, there's so much foreshadowing of romance between couples. I was expecting a death in this book. Okay, I truly was expecting a death, and as much as I was avoiding spoilers, people saying they were unwell at the end of this book, I was like, there's for sure going to be a spoiler, because I had also heard that Rebecca said that one of our favorite characters, or one of our characters we love, isn't going to make it to book 4. But we already know that. We just don't know who. So at the end of this battle, where they used Satan to capture Sigale under this net, and she's bleeding, and he basically has to channel and pull all this power to save Sigale. Was that like sweet redemption too, or what? Because we know at the end of Iron Flame, she was so mad at him to the point where she wasn't even talking to Zayden at the beginning of Onyx Storm, because she was so hurt about him choosing Violet over her, basically. And in this book, he comes back and like basically almost turns full venom, because there's only a tiny little bit of part of a soul left. I don't know. I'm terrified to find out what, but the fact that he used all his powers as much as he possibly could to save Sigale, damn. Like, damn, like that was so good. That was so good. Yeah. Oh gosh, Zayden. Oh, it was so good. I'm still just, it is clenching my heart just thinking about what he sacrificed, for his dragon, for the love of his dragon. And after that scene, and all the wyvern, he killed a bunch of wyvern. It's a little unclear as to what really happened. Only because we know in the very last chapter, when we go back to Violet's POV, 12 hours have gone by, and I was like so freaking confused. I was like, 12 hours. I thought she just like woke up and was just like, okay, the scene was so powerful of the fighting that she just like knocked herself out, and like she'll remember in a second. The fact that 12 hours, she's been gone for 12 hours, and it's 3 a.m. and she woke up in Basgiath again, and everyone, or Arisha, and she's just like, I don't know what happened. Well, what do you mean you don't know what happened? Because now she's got she's married. So now they're married. They're married. For one hot second, because Garrick was like playing hero, and we know he's like gonna be a huge important part here. I know that Zayden left her a note that says don't look for me, and we do know that there was some foreshadowing of the dagger that was missing in Emerald Diamond when they were in the aisles. When she grabbed it, she knew that it was missing. So we knew that we figured that he's been like planning this out, is what I'm getting. I don't know. I think there's no way she woke up and wasn't in on this plan. Like there's so much that happens in those 12 hours, which now we're gonna have to just speculate for the next year and a half or however long, till we figure out, or till we get some more info in book 4 maybe, of what happened in those 12 hours. But like, oh gosh, I'm just trying to think of like, in how did they get married? I think Zayden's completely gone, but the love between them was everything. The love from Zayden and Violet, my goodness, that was, I want to get tattooed on me. I live by you, and well the fuck aware. Okay, riders are dead. Some dragons are missing. Oh my god, there's all kinds of fucking chaos that ensured during these 12 hours. And yeah, for what? I definitely think that Zayden doesn't want anyone to press Violet about where he went. They don't, because they're gonna kill him. Also, her being a dream walker. What the fuck? What in the? I definitely don't watch enough to even know that that's a thing. I mean, you dream walk. You dream walk. I mean, it's insane that. Who did that? I know more about this dream walking thing, but like the way that the way that Rebecca wrote that chapter, slapped in the face. Literally, let me get slapped in the face by not even expecting that whatsoever. I did not expect that whatsoever. Nor did I expect the ending whatsoever. Nor did I expect half the shit that was happening in this book whatsoever. So yeah, it's a fantastic book. It's definitely my favorite in the series. And I'm so excited to be part of this talk, and talk about theories and more stuff. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I don't know what'll happen, but absolutely loved every moment of it, and I love romantasy. That's all I can say.
Going back, I like the theory that we're saving Satan's soul in something, and that Violet is going to have to hold on to it until it's safe to do so. And that is the only way to bring him back, versus there being absolutely no way if he's turned venom a whole 100%. Because if I'm thinking, right, if I'm thinking of souls type thing, I'm thinking of the ring, right? Because we know that Gollum, right? Gollum from Lord of the Rings, that ring stole his soul. And because he let himself go to the power of the ring, there is no, like, he's like a different species at this point, because nobody was there to save his soul. Versus like the riders that are soulless. So I think they were stopped at a different point from Gollum. So the riders that are the masked ones, and I know I'm going on a completely different theory, but I have to summarize and I have to make it make sense somehow. There are like different levels of like the venom, the sage, and like when they're completely gone. I don't think that Zayden is going to be completely gone, because he would be something completely different. There's like irrevocable, like you cannot break that. Like if you turn Golem, there's no going back. No matter how good you try to redeem yourself, there's no going back. Versus there is a stopping point where you still can be redeemed. So I do like the theory. And this is not a theory of my own. This is just me still deep diving into like people's theories and like reading every single freaking comment and videos and TikToks and stuff about what other people think. So I do like it, whether or not that soul will be held in something or just given. Why don't we think that Violet was in on this the whole time? I mean, I have a feeling that we know that Zayden was in on it the whole time, but is there a chance that Violet was also in on it from the very beginning? and they've been scheming and just keeping it to themselves and just not saying anything. That would be interesting. That would be like a good twist for her to also be in on it from like very beginning and then like let them know, because as far as we know from the very beginning of the book, she's trying to keep the secret of him being half Venom. And I was like totally lost. I thought everyone knew he was already Venom, and that's not the case. Like, lots of people didn't know. And then Riddick was like the last one to find out, basically. Or actually, no, Brennan and Mira were the last to find out. But like on the aisle, Riddick saw his eyes turn red and he's like, tell me what the fuck is going on here. He was one of the last to know. But at the end of the book, we all know that everyone knows. But like, how long were they going to be able to keep, or Violet keep that secret for before everyone knew? Like, we knew at some point they were all going to find out he's turned Venom. So maybe not so much the theory of like him dying and resurrecting. I find that one harder to believe. Although I do still like that theory, but I feel like it makes more sense for Violet to be holding on to part of his soul, whether in her ring or like in the sword, or God, I don't know. In the bond itself, I don't know. It's got to be in something, because you have to hold it in something. So I don't know. It makes a lot more sense.